Get out.
Get out. It's pumping. It's pumping.
Activity, like, dude, these things were like trading like whatever 20 a minute, like for 24 hours or something. And then basically this morning there was like 3 minutes where nothing traded, and I was like, all right, time to sell one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you did
Really,
great.
really intricate strategy, you know.
Yeah, I have I FOMO'd into something too. I'll show you once Evan and Kian get here.
Oh, and I bought another silly one last night, a
What?
super silly one.
What are these?
It's crypto Hezbollah, dude.
Hezbollah?
That's how. Do you know who Hezbollah is?
No.
Dude, you got to check out Hezbollah. And you know who the Island Boys are?
I know who the Island Boys are. This looks like an Island Boy.
It's a Hezbollah Island Boy crypto. You gotta grab one while they're hot.
How much did you pay for this? How many ETH?
0.27.
0.27? Oh. This
Dude,
guy.
look up who Hezbollah is. He's an internet sensation. I
Hezbollah.
basically scraped the floor for it, but yeah,
Oh,
I paid like
Jesus.
just above the floor.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to show this Hezbollah fella. This guy?
Yeah, he's 18 years old or 19 years old.
This guy's 19 years old?
Yeah,
No way.
I swear to God, he's from Dagestan. He's got some condition.
Like Benjamin Button condition?
Yeah, but he looks like a toddler, but he's 19. He's hilarious. He shoots guns. He does ridiculous stuff on the internet. I don't know. I just came across these yesterday, and he had his first interview this morning on Barstool Sports on the Sunday Conversation. It was a pretty uneventful interview. It was really
Not that
not.
funny.
It was not long. No, I thought it was going to be like 5 minutes or so. It was like a 2 minute interview.
That
Um,
works.
don't worry about it. I just wanted to show you guys. We don't have to.
What's up, Evan?
Yo,
Good morning.
how's it going?
Not bad. Have you heard of this Hezbollah guy? Am I the only one who hasn't heard of Hezbollah?
Like the radical group in the Middle East,
That's
Hezbollah.
that's Hezbollah.
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean,
I don't know Hezbollah actually.
I didn't know either one, so I'm the
This
stupid
is
one.
this is Hezbollah.
Yeah, anyways. Okay. Well, that's everybody except Kian. Kian's never woken up this early ever.
He has 1 minute.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll give him 1 minute. Oh yeah.
Dude, this Dazuki NFT is a total pump and dump, dude. I went in the Discord. There's nothing going on in the Discord, like besides one dude like basically trying to just pump the shit out of it. And yeah, so
So you're
it's gonna be totally worthless.
so you're gonna sell them as soon as you can.
Yeah, I mean I held on to one just to see like if it's whatever.
Oh, because
I'm gonna
you got two, and you basically got
yeah.
it for free. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this one is for free now. I don't know. The floor is hanging on at like 0.15, but I'm gonna list this one right now for like, because it has a lot of likes on it. The one that I bought. I like to buy ones that are heavily liked or favorited.
Yep, that's a good idea. So this is the
Here's the one I
maybe
still own. I could share it with you if you want.
sure.
Not. Hold
Well,
on.
I'll just talk real quick. This is the
Yeah.
NFT that's like going crazy right now. It's pumped up to like 30, maybe even more now. It's like the floor
What,
is
Azuki?
30 ETH.
Yeah.
I was looking at these just in December. I read a stat that if you bought Azuki in December, it was like 3 ETH.
Yeah.
And with all the airdrops, because they've airdropped them a little like some things with all the airdrops and with what the floor is at now, you would have made like $150,000,
Right.
which is insane. And they're still right now like they're at 30 ETH. You can see 29.9 floor. The
Yeah, it was
volume
as high as 35 yesterday.
the volume traded. Look, the volume traded is still like, what does that say?
That's the price line. The volume is the bars underneath it.
Right, but if you go on it, it says number of sales. So like
Right, right.
there's
41 today.
41 sales today, 177 yesterday. Today's just getting started. So like
Right.
the volume of this is still going crazy. Which the volume is also sales, but yeah, if someone's selling it, then someone's buying it. So
What's
that's
the
insane.
like allure? Why like what does it offer?
Well, I think the reason they're pumped so much is because they've airdropped him some things recently, and the airdrops, they give you like what is essentially like a free NFT they give you, and I don't think that NFT has like declared its like use case yet, so it's still kind of like um it's like almost like these NFTs pump the most before people figure out what they do, right? Like it's like, oh, it could be something great. It could be like something that makes me a shit ton of money, so I'm going to pay a lot for it. And then once they release what it is, then it usually tanks, right? Because it's like, I don't know. It's more like the speculation is the draw.
Hmm.
But yeah. So Jonathan texted me yesterday or called me yesterday, and he was buying. He just showed you. Yeah, I'll show.
Here, I'll,
Yeah, yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
reshare. I was gonna see where I want to sell this one right now. I was gonna list it a little above the floor, but here it
So
is.
he's buying these guys right now, which look almost like very similar to it. I don't know if I got to show you the other ones.
Yeah, show them the other one. This is like a demon version. It's not even made by the same people.
Mm.
It's like, so this is literally just people trying to ride the hype wave, and I
Hmm.
happened to stumble across it yesterday morning.
Yeah. So these are
It looks
the
cool.
these are the Azukis. These are what's selling for 30 ETH, which is 30 ETH. That's like $100,000 right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like Japanese
There's a
anime
huge
art.
anime, yeah, there's a huge anime craze right now, like
Yeah,
in the
that's
NFT space.
that's like the craze right now in this current moment this week.
Yeah.
And these are the ones that Jonathan bought yesterday. So they're very much like, I don't know, not necessarily rip-offs, but like inspired by, but they're not associated with them at all. And so kind of trying to ride that wave, but selling for, what did you buy it for? 0.05 ETH.
Yeah, I bought it for 0.05 ETH yesterday morning, and
And that was
this
already
morning.
like double what it was the day before, right? Like the
Correct.
day before they
Correct.
were
Yeah.
selling for like $100 maybe, like.
Yeah.
And then my initial thought was like, not well. I get all my NFT information primarily from Katina. She's the one who checks it every day. It's the first thing she like checks every morning. She checks, her NFTs, and then the Discords and the Twitter space to see like what's going on. And she was like usually saying that jumping on like a thing like this is not usually a good long term hold, but I
For
don't.
sure.
But you make a quick buck out of it if you kind of catch the wave. And so Jonathan got it kind of like halfway through this pump. It was still selling a bunch yesterday, and then he woke up this morning and it was at like it was triple what it was that he bought it for. And so I guess he sold
Mm.
sold one of them. He has
Nice.
this. Is this the one you still have?
Yeah, this is the one I still have.
Okay. Show me the
I
properties of it.
Sure.
He's got the blue shocker finger with the. No, I'm just kidding. It's the blue. The.
Can you see the properties?
Yep. Is there any like? Let's see.
I don't know.
Yes.
It's got seven categories that are under 10%.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. This
I,
is
I don't even know if that matters with projects like this that are just like kind of. I think people are just
probably
like
not.
scraping the floor, trying to resell them. Like it's a bunch of people just trying to make money real fast. But if a bunch of people are doing it, you can like get in
Right.
on doing it.
So
And look
this
at
is
the.
how I'm gonna. This is yeah. Sorry. This is how I'm gonna list it. So I have 12 favorites on this one. So I go. Is it showing my navigating the screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So I clicking on the floor to show what the floor is. Oh, look, the floor is dropping as we speak.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, like I sold my one this morning, like an hour ago. I sold it for 0.189. So now it's
That was
0.139.
like the.
So
That must have been like the peak. I think.
it was
Yeah.
next to the peak, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so then I click here on most favorited. So mine has 12 likes. So I'm going to go down to where gets around 13. Okay, 12.
Oh, so this is how you decide what to price to list it for, kind of.
Sort of, yeah. That's what I'm
Look
gonna
at
try on this one.
point five. Look at that guy.
Right. So there's one cheaper next to him, 0.299 with 12 likes. So it looks like maybe I could list this for like a quarter ether, and maybe somebody will come in and just
And it'll be like the cheapest one with that many likes almost, and so someone will pick it up and think that that's a deal.
exactly. So now I'm gonna list it. So here we go.
It's interesting. I mean, like it does like it make the money off of it, but it does seem like a
I'm gonna
knockoff of this
unshare
other
my
thing.
screen because
100%.
My Meta wallet.
Oh yeah.
Sure, I'll put you down.
You can share the codes. I mean, we don't mind.
It was 100% like a not a great long term probably project to be involved with, like you're
Yeah.
saying, for that exact reason that it's just like a knockoff. And then, maybe a knockoff could have value if it's still like trying to do something. But he said he went into the Discord, which is the primary way that these things kind of interact with each other. And he said it was just like a bunch of malarkey. Like it wasn't any real like people doing anything or talking about anything.
Right. So now I'm listed for sale. I listed it for 0.248 ether. So
All right, we'll see.
If anybody bids, let's bid it up.
Oh. Okay, now I want to show you what I FOMO'd into this morning.
let's see it. Oh, another thing that rhymes with Azuki.
Yeah, I straight
There we
FOMO'd. Wait, TS.
Kian, you need to lower the price on your bitchy Putin so I could buy one. I want to buy one for 0.01 ether. Okay. The only one I can get is for 0.02 right now.
So this is the one.
I need to relist them. Most of them aren't even for sale.
Yeah, I tried to buy one yesterday,
Yeah, there's only 5 of them that are available as buy nows.
and they're the ones I don't like. They're the ones I didn't favorite. So this is the Tales of Tsuki Genesis that I got 2 of this morning because I saw the volume. The volume was like kind of ticking up as of
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the Discord or no?
I haven't checked the Discord honestly yet. I just liked the artwork kind of. I kind of thought it was kind of jumping on this anime craze. And when I bought them, when I looked at them, they were 0.7. I think I got it for 0.85. Now they're a little bit
0.085, you mean?
Yeah, 0.085. Yeah, sorry. 0.085, 0.07. Now it looks like the floor is close to 1.
I see that. Yeah, nice uptick in volume.
Yeah.
Yesterday
So we'll see.
you could have bought them for 0.02.
Yeah. It's
But yeah, you could see when they were issued in February, they traded as high as a quarter of an ETH. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So maybe it could potentially even go maybe close to that. I don't know.
look at the activity. There in the last 10 minutes, there's probably been 100 sales. So
They're going crazy
it's
right
got
now.
good velocity. Yeah.
So these are mainly, it's just the value is like the art, and you think the art's cool. It's not about like any kind of like membership to something or.
Yeah, so let me show you. So 100%, that's like what's kind of getting the most buzz right now is just art NFTs, which is cool, but it's very like hype based. And it feels to me like the most people that are getting in and out of them are people that are just trying to make money, right? They're like, oh shit, if I get in this project, yeah, the art's kind of cool, but maybe I can flip it for double, triple, and maybe even I could hold on to a couple, and maybe it's the rare one that goes to like a Bored Ape level status or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like doesn't seem like a lot like what you'd consider like merit based or true value based. But this is an NFT that I got. This company's called Royal.io. It was made by this artist named Blau, which I think you guys have heard of because I think he's from Vegas.
Yeah,
I think
I know
he actually
him.
went to Gorman.
No,
You
he went
guys
to
are by-
Meadows, but yeah, I know
Meadows.
him.
Okay, yeah. So he's an EDM artist, and he started this company called Royal.io. And the idea of it is to release NFTs that correspond to ownership of the artist's song, like a fractional percentage of the owner's royalties in song. And so the first one I got was this Diplo one, a couple of days ago, and I got this lowest version. You know, they sold ones that are $10,000. You can see $10,000, $1,000, and then I got two of these $99 ones. And it gives you a really small fractional percentage of the royalties. And I just wanted to see like how it actually ended up panning out, and like, because the idea of it, this is like one of the first NFT examples that I see actual like value. Like, okay, this NFT could potentially pay for itself if this song does well. I like Diplo. It's not my favorite Diplo song, but you know, whatever. And it also, like, the more expensive ones come with like you get to meet up with him, and you get like free show tickets like once a year or something like that. I'm not going to pay $10,000 for that, but you know, I can see someone maybe buying that. So yeah, they disperse royalties like whenever the artist gets royalties, and who's ever holding, whatever wallet is holding the NFT, that's where the royalties go into. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you guys know whenever that first disbursement goes, just to see.
So are these existing songs already out there, or they're new songs he's putting out?
Already out there. They like are usually just like recently dropped songs. And then I'm gonna get this one on Tuesday because this one is selling for a little bit more expensive. It's the lowest one is 10 times as much royalties. The other one was 0.004. And one of the other reasons I'm doing it is because it actually comes with like you get a free show. Once you get a free show from Tritonal, which is the band that's doing this one. And so for me, since I like them, it almost like pays for itself. This one comes with the free show. See, two free GA tickets with your choice. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I heard, it might have been Gary Vee or somebody talk about that this could be this kind of model could be the future for artists, specifically independent artists who don't want to go the route of having a label. It's like you own your own music. You and your fans are the only people that own your music. And you know, you could even do like before the song comes out, like, hey, we're kind of doing a GoFundMe, almost funding our next album, but you're buying a share in the royalties, you know.
Totally, yeah. And I think that Diplo song netted like $350,000. I'm sure Royal.io and Blau gets a cut of that, and I'm sure there's like a royalty. Most NFTs have like a royalty system like built into it, where like every time it exchanges wallets, 5% up to 5% of it will go towards either the artist or back to Royal.io. So over time, it can just like keep accumulating revenue, which is good for them. Allows them to keep that kind of model going. And yeah, you're not paying a label at all. Like in that, say, I guess Royal.io would be considered like the label in that. But taking, like, you know, I know labels take way more than 5%. You know, they're taking much bigger cuts.
I mean, sometimes they take everything.
Right, and then for like in perpetuity and like whatever. So
yeah, and they'll do like, you know, take a portion of your tour for that album and merch and everything.
Yeah.
So,
And with the NFT, you gotta get to like write in exactly how you want it. Like this Tritonal one that I'm gonna get, it includes like all future remixes of the song. So like if it ever gets remixed, then you get royalties on that too. Where like as in the Diplo one did not include that, and so
I got a couple questions. How do you know what the song's generating and if they're actually paying you what they're supposed to?
Yeah, I maybe there's a way to double check that. I guess it would be nice if there was.
Yeah, they should provide like a shareholders report, almost like how the stock market does.
Yeah, and maybe they will, or maybe they do. Like I said, it's kind of a new thing, so maybe they're kind of still figuring it out. And I haven't looked into that, to be honest. But the honor system, yeah, I don't know. But interesting.
And then couldn't you see, you know, if they're selling it for small prices or, you know, 10 grand or whatever it may be, couldn't you see if this actually does pay correctly, labels coming in and buying the songs this way, and it might actually save them money?
You mean the labels will go in and buy all the NFTs?
It's possible.
It would so they would buy the NFT so that they would earn their royalties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the artist really cares who buys it, and I think it's probably limited by the way that you buy it, because like I had to log in, and the whole collection sold out within like 5 minutes, like 6 minutes, and you can only buy one at a time. So like unless like the label like had like bots that they set up that could do it and like figure it out to go click faster than every human person or something like that, which I'm sure exists too. But like, I think it just makes it more challenging. It's not like they can go in and put all of them in their shopping cart or something like that.
Mhm.
All right, quick before we get off the NFT topic, I just want to show my one other thing that happened. I think I mentioned it maybe last time. Here's my NFTs. And so these two crypto skulls, these are the ones that like Gary V kind of pumped initially, and I'm like super down on now, but I'm just holding them. I like them. But they airdropped this stuff right here called Demonic Blood. And you can basically, they airdropped it, and you can like, what do they call it? You burn the demonic blood. So you just like goes away, and then it mutates your skull into like, I think they're kind of previewing it. This might be like a preview of what the skull looks like. I'm not sure. It hasn't opened up as time to do it yet. But so you basically burn your blood, and it'll transmute your skull into like a different mutant skull, kind of like the mutant apes did. And you can burn if you burn like 3, it turns it into like a level 2, and if you burn 5, it burns into like this like higher level 3 or whatever. So I'm interested in that. I don't know if I'm gonna even do it, if I'm gonna maybe wait and like try to sell the blood or something like that to people that want. I don't even know, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be good.
That Alpha Kong NFT that I have, they're doing the same thing. Like, I have to stake my NFT up by April 10th or something, and then I get some blue banana serum.
it's so
And
funny.
then, yeah,
Go
and then
ahead.
anyways, it turns into an Omega Kong or whatever.
Oh shit, Omega Kong. Yeah, it's so funny how they're trying to gamify. It's like one of the ways they're trying to create value and hype is like by gamifying it, and it's just interesting to me.
It just feels
Yeah.
like a total marketing ploy.
It is 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, a lot of it is. I have a question. Since this kind of goes along with what you're talking about with gamifying it, is like, and maybe this already exists, but like, why with the craze of like Pokemon cards being so like becoming so expensive and collectible, why hasn't like Nintendo jumped in the NFT space to make like Pokemon NFTs? And I feel like those would sell and become very valuable.
So much. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good question. I think like GameStop is trying to do something with NFTs, but I don't know if it has to do with art. I think it has more to do with, I don't know, like one YouTuber that I watch says that they think they're going to try to figure out a way to use NFTs to actually track the amount of shorts going on with either their stock or potentially all stocks, so that like there would be no more just like naked shorting going on, which is what the big like scam or whatever happened with GameStop. They weren't able to cause the MOAS, the mother of all short squeezes, because like they shut down platforms and they weren't, whatever. People didn't know exactly how many shorts are out there, and so that's what I heard that they're going to do with like this Loop Ring and GameStop, but I don't know. Okay, we'll do the crypto. The other news coming out with crypto. You saw like, oh yeah, my Bitcoin last week, the short that Jonathan and you guys all helped me put in did really well. It was up like 100%, so I cashed that out. Yeah, and then it proceeded to drop a little bit more, and now I think it might be at a time where it might go back up. Next week we have a Bitcoin conference in Miami. It's the biggest Bitcoin conference, and usually there's news that gets dropped there that people get excited about. And I think the one thing next week that everyone's kind of stoked about is, or potentially foreseeing or predicting, is that Apple is going to be releasing something called is it called Strike? Is Strike it's going to be called Strike, and they're trying to, like, they've released all these like cryptic messages on Twitter and pictures. Like there's apparently there's an iconic Apple like picture of Steve Jobs like giving the middle finger to an IBM computer or an IBM like something, and I guess that it was some guy, I forget this guy's name, CEO of something Bitcoin related, giving the middle finger to like a Chase Bank Anyways, apparently Apple and Bitcoin are trying to like open something called Strike, and it's supposed to potentially want to replace the Swift banking system, which is like a huge banking system that is international and has to do with trade. I honestly don't even know the ins and outs of it, but
It's like having your your routing number in the US, but it's like an international routing number, so it has
Okay.
like a system that connects every bank across the world.
It's like how you wire money all over the place.
okay. So, yeah, they're trying to like open up a Bitcoin Apple integrated peer to peer sharing network, as well as potentially use that to replace the Swift banking system. I don't know. That sounds big news. I think it could. I think Bitcoin could rally off that if they do like kind of release some news regarding that. So I'm inclined. I'm inclined to long. I'm inclined to long it, but we'll get to that later.
I'm looking at the speakers that they're having at this Bitcoin conference. It's pretty interesting. I just think it like I just went to the like website or whatever, and they were like the headline is join Jordan Peterson and over 35,000 Bitcoiners Miami. Why is he the
Jordan
headliner?
Peterson?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like whatever you think about him, it's like how is he a crypto or someone who's the voice for crypto? You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
They're just trying to get his followers. He has a lot of young male followers.
Yeah, who
Which is
probably
kind
are
of
into
like
crypto.
the
There's
which is
definitely
kind
a crossover. Yeah.
yeah.
Because last year they had Tim Dillon, who was kind of like the main. He
Isn't
like
he a
had
comic?
yeah, he's a comedian. He did a
Yeah.
podcast with Jake Paul and the
Winklevoss
Facebook
twins.
twins. Yeah, Winklevoss twins. Yeah, which was pretty funny.
Winklevoss.
It was a pretty funny episode. But yeah, I guess now they're just leaning into like the IDW thing. But I'm seeing they also have like Andrew Yang and a couple football players, Odell, Aaron Rodgers. You know, because they're like into
Yeah.
crypto.
I think
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just leaning into the free thinkers, really. The people that
Yeah.
aren't like in line with the mainstream narrative necessarily, because Bitcoin is kind of like alternative to the mainstream. So I think they're just leaning into that by picking Peterson, I guess. You know?
Yeah, I see that.
People with
Yeah.
just big social media followings and
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too, obviously.
Yeah, they have like Anthony Scaramucci. It's like he
He actually runs a I think he runs a crypto fund now.
Oh, okay. That makes
Everybody
sense.
runs
He
a crypto
did
fund.
get
Yeah.
into the crypto world. He's actually really high on Algorand, Anthony Scaramucci.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because some of them are just like people, and then a lot of their pictures they have like red eyes. You know, like the
Like
the
an
memes.
NFT.
Or their name's just like Wiz, and it's like an avatar. It's not even a person.
Wiz Khalifa?
No, it just says Wiz, and it's like a wizard with a Bitcoin
Oh.
staff. But then
my
it's
God.
like Zachary K. Bradford. Like it's like all right, so there's just a interesting lineup of people.
That conference is probably so crazy and weird.
Yeah.
It's in Miami, so yes. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, well,
definitely.
I remember Tim Dillon made some like just jokes, like you could rip on anybody, and they did not like the crowd was not having it, like with some of his just like ripping on crypto or like people who are obsessed with it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, too sensitive.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
diehards are joke about
Yeah.
crypto.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite thing is like a comic that I love, like bombing with really funny material, just because the crowd is like not the right crowd for them. That's some of my favorite like moments.
They're like, this should work. This is funny, guys.
Yeah. Like this comedian like Chris Stefano, he went on Wendy Williams' show.
Oh, yeah.
And he
I
just
saw
bombed
that.
with her audience. Yeah, it's so funny.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to know your audience.
Yeah.
My wife tried to get me to play an April Fool's joke on her parents, and she wanted me to tell them she was in the hospital.
No.
And I just, there's no chance. That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
Yeah. Like the when you break that, like April Fools is just like
fuck you.
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It would have to be something that she was at the hospital that was like
Benign. Yeah, something like not that bad.
totally ridiculous. Like Christina got a beer bottle stuck in her ass or something.
Oh my god.
See, this is really embarrassing that we have some weird things that we like to do.
It wasn't me. She fell. She fell and
Right on the beer bottle. It was
perfect
crazy.
angle. Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Well, next I think on the let's see, we'll go to maybe inflation. We talk about inflation usually. I wanted to ask Jonathan or anyone if you guys know, because everyone talks about the yield curves inverting and how it's so related to a recession. And then I have other people saying how no, not every time. You should actually, and I hear the 10-2 yield curves often mentioned, and then on the All In podcast, I guess Chamath was talking about uh, the few. He talked about the 3 month and the 18 month yield curves. Is this something you follow and pay attention to, or do you think it's kind of not really that related?
Uh, I think I think it's related. I mean, historically, the 2 to 10 uh, curve has predicted recessions every time. I think it doesn't predict it like right. It doesn't happen right away, but within 2 years, usually, some kind of recession happens. So I yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people trying to say this time's different, but it's kind of like the same thing people were saying about stocks that,
This time's
stock
different. It's just going to keep going up. It's just going to keep
yeah,
going
yeah,
up.
exactly.
And then it went
So
down. They're like, yeah, like it happens every time.
I mean, listen, the Fed is tightening financial conditions.
Mm-hmm.
People's assets are going to be worth less money,
Mm-hmm.
you know, most likely. I mean, in the next couple years, you'll start to see your assets, come down in price, especially in the areas of and markets that have had such great expansions in the last 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So those kind of pressures do put the economy at risk of a recession because it just disincentivizes consumers, and if the
Mm-hmm.
consumer isn't spending as much and doesn't want to spend, then that's how we go into a recession, basically.
Right.
A lot of people say to look at consumer health and confidence, also. So it doesn't mean anything's happening this year, but
Mm-hmm.
you know i I think it is probably indicative that we are going to have some kind of economic slowdown in the next couple of years.
So yeah, they basically take the 10 year and minus the 2 year. Usually, you get paid more for the 10 year. It's a longer term investment bond. You should get paid longer for time, like taking more risk, longer risk. But that has come down dramatically, and even like inverted, meaning that you get paid more of a percentage for shorter term bonds,
Yeah,
the 2 year bond. That's interesting to me.
exactly. Yeah,
But Chamath was saying to look at, like, was he saying that
the three
the,
month.
yeah, the 3 month is actually more indicative, and if you look at the 10 year minus the 3 month, it's actually kind of going the opposite way. So I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of a not exactly clear situation. But then Kevin, who I listened to, was talking about how usually if you look at past recessions and past rate hikes, that usually we don't hit the recession until we're actually done with rate hikes, because as we're increasing rate hikes, or as we're doing rate hikes, it usually means we're doing them because inflation is still trending upwards, like prices are still going up, but only at the very end, once they kind of stop rate hike. It usually means because that's when they've overshot maybe a little bit and caused that recession, and getting that perfect like soft landing, as they call it, is really hard to do, if not like maybe impossible. Or it's been done, I think, a few times, but um, so yeah, that maybe fits with your narrative, and the narrative that we hear is like it doesn't mean that a recession is happening now, but usually means that within the next 1 to 2 years, a recession is maybe eminent. Okay. You have any specific dates that you're looking at this coming week?
For just
Uh,
economic news and stuff.
yeah, economic news.
I don't know. It looks like, what is that? Friday? Is that the PC number? Is that what I saw? Oh wait, that was
That
from
was
last
last
week.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, I guess the FOMC minutes on Wednesday, that'll kind of give you an idea of what the Fed is thinking. Um,
yeah. That's been the big days of the last few months.
yeah, it looks like there really isn't much economic news. The ISM Services Index, that just gives us
What
a
is
read
that?
on the services sector of the economy, which is a
Okay,
pretty.
which
I
is
think I think America. I think our economy is mostly in the service sector. We're not really
yes,
producers anymore.
hmm
We don't make many goods here. I think we're
totally. We're more
mainly,
services.
yeah, services oriented, tech companies, things like that. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, So I don't know if
Okay,
that
yeah,
number if
interesting.
that number's weak, then maybe that is a sign that we're heading for a little bit of a slowdown. But
Which is like it's almost like what we want, but not too much. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, exactly. We want things to slow down a little because otherwise we're just going to keep paying more and more money for everything that we want to buy, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So they need to get it under control. I don't
Which will
want to
drop.
pay, I don't want to be, I mean, I think it's inevitable, but I'm not looking forward to paying $7 or $8 a gallon this summer for gas.
Yeah, how much you guys paying out there? Because I pretty much Vegas used to be like at least $1 cheaper than California, and I paid $6 here for gas the other day, and they do this like
What do you
tricky
get?
thing.
91.
Yeah, I have to get 91, but they do and they do like a fun. They do this sneaky thing where they only put the price of regular on the sign now,
Uh,
and the increase is 20 cents per like thing instead of 10 cents.
Bastards.
Like if
Bastards.
you don't get a car wash, it's 20 cents.
Yeah,
If you pay
yeah.
debit versus credit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sneaky.
Apparently, Nevada is the second highest in the country.
Oh, my
wow.
God.
Yeah, I was
Stop
gonna say
moving
we're
here.
paying $6 here basically. Premium is like 640 maybe, 630, something like that around here. So yeah, but
Do you
regular
think
is six.
do you think Biden releasing some from the strategic reserve is going to help us over the next like month?
They probably released such a little amount because they
No,
want
It
to be
was
able to.
it was a decent amount. It was like 1 million barrels a day or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll help a little bit, but I think the price will still be going up. It's not
Yeah.
enough to make
Yeah,
the
I think
price
it's
turn
like
around.
3 million barrels a day are missing from the economy from Russia. So
Why is it such a big deal though? Because every other country pays way more than us in gas. Like if you go to Europe,
Yeah.
they sell it by the liter
Liter.
over there, and they
Yeah.
basically pay what we pay like a gallon.
Yeah.
Well, it's stupid because we can pay cheaper because we have more energy in this country. Europe pays more because Europe doesn't really have any endogenous
They don't make it.
energy production. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't make any, but we have enough to supply
Make all of it.
ourselves and a lot of other countries in the world. So like, it's just like sure we could pay more, like, but we could be paying less if they under
Opened
different
up all the.
yeah, under different policies, basically. Which I don't know
Yeah.
which is the right move, but I'm just saying,
What's this
like,
whole
The-
rumor of everyone thinking that Biden stopped oil production in the U.S., but then recently Biden said that he didn't stop oil production?
Hmm.
Do you
I don't
guys
know.
know
Must
anything
have been a
about
rumor.
that?
Because yeah, as far as I know, it never stopped. Our oil,
Yeah.
we've always been able to be oil independent, but we export a
Our
lot of
guilt.
oil. So yeah, it's like we end up like
Didn't he just put a
importing
lot of
some and
sanctions or
exporting a lot.
something?
the only
Yeah,
thing
not
I'm
really.
aware of him stopping was the Keystone
Pipeline.
which was supposed to bring more energy into our country and lower the cost, but he canned that. But
Well,
apparently
it was
there.
just phase 4. There's still 3 phases that are already running, and
Okay.
from what I understand, phase 4 was like it would have like a 2% impact on oil prices. So
Ooh.
yeah,
So not significant.
not really material. But yeah, the reason we're concerned because it's so high is because it is the highest it's ever been, and the highest it's ever been adjusted for inflation since 2007. So it's
Right,
like
right,
it
right.
shouldn't be this high.
Yeah.
is all.
I have a feeling that, during this next election cycle, we're going to try to become a little bit more energy independent, or at least I think voters will even prefer that, especially with them seeing so much at the pump.
Sure hope so, because what's been going on lately is pretty crazy. Gas prices, house prices, goes to the store, shelves are just empty. It's like, did the freezer shut down or something? Like, oh no, we just haven't gotten any products. Like, really? Like, oh,
What
wow.
what
Like,
other products have you noticed that have gone up like significantly? Like, what do you notice? I'm gasoline, obviously, but
Well,
in
with the
what other
chip
ways?
shortage, I mean,
wood.
supply chain.
Wood
Everything
has
we
gone up
import.
by like 4 times.
Yeah.
What has?
So wood, like just
Wood.
to build
Lumber.
Right.
Yeah.
2x4s,
lumber's crazy.
like
Okay.
sheets of wood. Yeah. Like
New
pretty
and
much
old,
people
new
like
and used
aren't building
cars
right
also.
now.
Yeah.
I
Interesting.
haven't really noticed it much.
The main way I've noticed it
definitely
is
have.
shrinkflation. I've noticed
such
that
a-
everything I buy is a little bit more expensive, and it comes with way less.
The chip
Yeah, I
bags are
think
way
that
less
people-
full these days. I don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed that. The
I
chip
believe
bags-
it. I believe it, dude.
I think that a lot of
Like
people
half
have
empty.
increased
air
their
now,
prices,
yeah.
Yeah,
and then, like,
exactly.
if there's 10 products in it, there's like 8 now, and it's an
Right.
increase in price. So it's like
Yeah.
pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean
it's
the
hard.
inflation. There's no incentive to save. That, like you were saying, it's like, why would I save money right now if I know it's going to be significantly more in a month? So I
Right,
might as well buy it
exactly.
now.
Right.
Which just adds to
It's
that inflation spiral.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard to Keen's point. It's hard to notice the inflation like on produce, like because when you're
Hmm.
buying like whatever an apple for $2 a pound and
It's
it's now
10
two and a
cents
half
more.
dollar a
Right,
pound or
right.
whatever, like you're like, oh, I don't really notice it, but it's a significant percentage increase.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed it. Like before I got my raise in like January, I was like, all right, why am I not saving as much as I used to?
Hmm.
With
Right.
just grocery bills and stuff. I mean, I went to buy a ginger root the other day. It was like
Oh
eight
God.
dollars.
Oh, is that why they're sending me such messed up ginger roots in my Marley spoon? Jesus. Okay.
Probably. Yeah, they're
God
significantly more
damn.
expensive.
Yeah, and those are like like consumer staples, or just like, people that have, really marginal incomes that basically just don't save a lot. Like that kind of increase because they have to buy food, right? Or they have to find a replacement for food.
Hmm.
It really affects people significantly.
Apparently, you're right with the chip bag. They're putting 5 fewer chips in every bag now.
Wow.
5, that's it.
In the
Yeah.
That's
small bags, that's
significant. I
probably
mean,
like
they got probably
10%.
yeah,
No,
35
on like
chips
the
in the
nine
bag.
ounce bags.
Oh,
God
in the
damn.
9-ounce bag.
That's a small bag. That's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, bastards. All right. Let's see. I wanted to talk about. We briefly talk about stocks. I don't know. Do you have any? Anyone have any calls for stocks that will do well? I feel like there's a real separation between like good companies and bad companies right now. Only like good money producing companies are kind of like a what people are fleeing to for safety and for like and not willing to take as much risk. Yeah.
Yeah. I can give what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at some chip stocks that have come down in price in the last few weeks. So like AMD, uh, it was at like a low of like about $100. I think it's trading around like 108, so it's getting back near its recent low.
Mm-hmm.
Qualcomm, I'm looking at another chip maker, but they're mainly like a 5G and phone chip maker. I think they're the main supplier for Apple. Um,
Okay.
AMD is more like gaming and PCs and
Right.
laptops, things like
Like
that.
Nvidia.
And then I'm looking at the home builders and um, just like anything that's associated with housing has been really beat up. So I don't know that I'm going to buy the home builders yet,
Like
but
Lennar and
yeah,
Pulte.
Lennar, KB Homes, Pulte, yeah, DH Horton, things like that. But I'm looking at Home Depot and Stanley Black and Decker,
Mm-hmm.
which is SWK is that symbol.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're more. My theory on this is just basically like, you know, people with the cost of mortgages going up, maybe there aren't as many people buying new homes, and people are going to transition to remodeling their homes more, spending money on that as opposed because otherwise you're going to have to take on a more expensive mortgage. So Home Depot stock has come down a lot, and yeah, I just think that that play is safe because even if people redo their homes, Home Depot is still going to be selling products, and then Stanley Black and Decker is like tools and other things associated with repairing homes and stuff like that. So I'm looking at that right now.
And there's been like 2 years of people just buying houses, so maybe like those houses need some stuff. People have spent money on the house, and now I mean, we bought a house. We bought two houses in the last 2 years, year and a half, and there's shit we need to buy for it now. Like
Well,
there's just
not
like
all of us are doctors.
no, but I'm just saying if you bought a house in the last year and a half, like you have to replace something. If something goes bad, or whatever,
I'm
Yeah.
just messing
and
with you.
and you're not gonna and you're not gonna withhold buying that, whereas you can withhold buying a new house because the rates are higher.
Yep, I think there's going to be a probably definitely in the next couple of months here a little bit of a slowdown in purchasing of homes because of the interest rates, and then people just aren't going to see the value of buying a house at a more expensive price and increasing their payment to 5%, 5.5% interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's gonna. I know that the corporate buyers have also kind of tightened up their margins and yields, so think there's going to be a little bit of a slowdown in the next month or so.
Do you think people are going to start if they want to buy a house? Do you think they're going to hold on to their first house and rent it out because of the rates?
That would probably be in everybody's best interest, but I don't think that they're going to. I mean,
You
I
have
don't
to be able
know.
to afford to do that, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But rental prices are high, and I heard that rents lag housing prices. So housing
Yeah,
prices have been going up, so rentals should continue to go up for a little longer at least. So it's
yep,
possible that people do that, but you don't if you need money for a down payment,
exactly.
you have to sell your house otherwise,
Yeah.
But
unless
you're
you have
Rental
looking,
money
prices
sitting
are
you're
out of
around.
control right now.
but you're looking at it
Right.
now too. I'm sure people are looking at it. They're like, oh, I could have sold my house last year or just a couple months ago for 50, 100 grand more than what is now I can sell it for. And so they're like, oh, fuck, maybe I should just rent it if you
Right.
can.
I don't know if there's going to be too much of a slowdown, but I think a lot of buyers that were looking at, if you're looking at a property at 500,000 2 months ago, now you're probably looking at a property around like 440, 450,
Hmm.
just because of the difference in interest rate, mortgage
Buying
payment.
power, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, what are the areas? What are the hot areas? Kai, I know you were talking about Detroit. Looks good right now.
Yeah, I've been looking at Detroit for possible insurance fraud. You buy a house or buy some land, build a home, light it on fire, collect the money. That's the best best
That's the
thing I see
best
in
investment
Detroit right now.
strategy.
Yeah, it's pretty much all I see people in Detroit doing. But
Yeah, I saw this video. I forget what YouTuber it was. I think Kylie saw the same one. It was like if you look over the last couple of years of Detroit, there's like a house one year, it's like beat up to shit the next year, and then it's burned down the following year.
yeah,
And unless there's just like random fires, like house fires, meth fires, I don't know, that are happening all over the place, it would make sense that there's a lot of insurance fraud happening there.
yeah. I think that there's pretty extreme weather conditions, so maybe like electrical fires, but I'm sure
Mm.
it's probably a lot of insurance fraud.
Yeah, it's interesting. So not a good place to buy yet. You don't think it's rebranding?
Um, until the car market starts picking back up and
Oh
people start
God.
buying Fords and Chryslers and moving to Michigan to
Yeah.
work in the factories. But still,
Yeah.
that I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
I heard they're building a new stadium in Vegas.
A baseball stadium?
Madison Square Garden.
Mm.
No,
Oh, like a.
Six Flags in Vegas
No,
soon.
that's fake.
Wait,
That was
what?
a April
Is
Fool's.
that
Oh
fake? Is that April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
Oh,
Boo!
Yeah.
Every
But
every paper does that to people this year. Our paper said they were renaming the town to Westbury Oaks. Oh yeah. Christine read the headline to me and I was like, "Oh, that's fake. That's April Fool's joke." And
Oh
then she
no!
went to the bottom and she was like, "Oh, it is April Fool's." And I was
Oh,
like, "Yeah, duh.
Westbury. No,
Westbury."
Westbury.
yeah,
Oh
the
man.
MSG Sphere is like a venue. I don't, and then I have heard that might be a place for basketball teams to play.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I heard too.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's gonna be cool. It's like the largest spherical structure on Earth. Is what it's gonna be.
Ooh, Vegas is killing it with the sports and entertainment. I guess they've always done that, but it's crazy.
Yeah,
It feels cool.
yeah, it is cool.
Yeah. All right, Kylie. Any last minute hot real estate takes?
uh,
Should if
in which
should
ways? I don't
I
know.
don't know. Should
Interest
do you
rates.
think
That's all I really can.
like
Buy
if you
land
if
in
you were a buyer,
Westbury.
if you were a buyer or a seller, would you say try to just get in right now, or would you say maybe wait to the end of the year and see if prices come down? If you're a buyer, if you're a
If
seller,
you're
wait
trying
till
to time the
rates.
market,
Yeah.
I think that's a bad idea. Don't ever try to time the
Don't-
market. If you really need to move, then yeah, like move and do the
Mhm.
best you can to find a house that's you think you're getting a good deal on. And but if you're just trying to time the market, like should I sell now? Should I buy an investment property? Um,
Yeah.
if you're in it for the long term, then definitely it's always a good time to buy. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't. Yeah, never try to time the real estate market.
Yeah. That's
I'm
good
going to
advice.
look at a house today at 1 o'clock
Where?
Yeah, nice.
in Newberry. It's up
Nice.
by like Lynn and Potrero. It backs up to the mountains over there. It's like on
Is that
0.9 acres, and it's like the same price as my house. I don't know.
That's not
So
Dos Vientos, is it? No.
no, it's I don't know what it's considered.
Okay.
It's like if you take Lynn and it basically takes you like by the mountains, you know,
Yeah,
if
it's
you get off.
beautiful over there.
Yeah, and then this house is like kind of up in a neighborhood that's against the mountains. I don't know. I just saw it today and it looked really interesting. It's got like a sports court and a pool. It's got all sports sorts of stuff
That's
in it,
nice.
and it's like the same. I think it's around a similar cost to my house. So I'm not looking to pay more for a house, but if a nicer house came up for the same price, I might,
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
gonna say it's
be
bigger.
interested.
It's probably bigger and on more land than your house, maybe.
Yeah, it's not like it's a little more off the beaten path, you know, like you got to drive off the freeway a little bit, but I kind of like being
Yeah, you work from
secluded.
home. You work from home. It's
Yeah,
It only
yeah,
affects your wife.
yeah. It's probably not too big of a commute for your
exactly.
wife. Nah, it won't be that bad.
I got a new hot spot for real estate is Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines.
Affordable properties, nice places,
Oh.
areas growing.
Have you been there?
No,
Okay.
But-
How did you hear about it?
I just saw some article about like affordable places to move.
All right, let's take a
And,
group trip. Let's take a group trip.
There's some nice properties.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
Oregon in a few months to check out the area.
What part?
Where?
Yeah.
Bend?
So nice.
We're going to a few different parts. I think
Cool.
Bend is one of them.
Bend is really
Bend
nice.
blown up right now.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Blockbuster. They got a Blockbuster there.
The last remaining.
Yeah.
Iconic.
And I think we're going to Deschutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they have like rapids and stuff.
Yeah, there's rivers and lakes all over the Oregon area. It's like Bend and surrounding area. There's a town called Sun River near Bend that we
Oh, yeah, you
vacationed
went
in
there.
once. It's a cool town. Yeah, lot of nice stuff, good breweries, good food, good golf, outdoors, hunting. I mean, they got everything over
It
there.
would
So.
Yeah.
it would take
People
quite a
love
bit
it.
for me to make that jump though. It would have
To
to
move
be,
there,
Yeah.
it would have to be what? What is your criteria?
I mean, it would have to be super nice and all that. It'd have to have all the things I need for work nearby, banks and things. Um,
No, they don't have banks in Oregon.
well, you'd be
No,
surprised.
no bank.
Sometimes you don't have the banks, like certain companies you need nearby.
Sure.
Dude,
Um,
barter
Only
system.
certain banks will work with Kian anymore.
No, certain banks are retarded, so I stay away from them. It's basically what it comes
Bank
down
of
to.
Russia, number one
Yeah.
Bank of Russia.
Kian's dealing in rubles.
And it would really have to be cheaper, a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to move for the same price or same type of house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be if it's the same price, it's got to be nicer, right? I mean,
Yeah, a lot nicer.
otherwise what's the point? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It'll
A lot
definitely
of
be a
these
little
places
cheaper,
are
but
beautiful.
good.
A lot of these places are beautiful too, but they're just like, what would you do for work out there? Like I would love to live in Montana, but it's like, what would I do
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have a major effect on me for work.
really?
It'll probably be a little bit of an adjustment at first, but the hardest part is just me leaving family and friends.
Mm-hmm. That was it for me.
Yeah.
That was like the main thing for me. Yeah, but we
you-
can all just move to Des Moines.
Got family out there too, though. So
Nice. Okay. Well, they brought this topic up on the most recent All In podcast, and I thought it was interesting. They were talking about the overall birth rate of the United States and then of California specifically, and how when they calculate this overall birth rate by not just like how many live births there are, but also live births plus immigration plus minus deaths, right? And that's your like actual overall like country's birth rate. It's like how many people are entering that are alive, I guess. And they're saying how over the last 2 years it's like cutting 50%. And some of that's like due to the pandemic. A lot of that's due to the strict immigration policies that we enacted under Trump's policy. And then also just kind of this trend overall that like you see in societies that as life gets better, as like times get easier, actually birth rates go down. Like I guess maybe people wait longer to have kids.
People don't want to ruin their lives.
I don't know what I don't I'd be interested to know what that association is, like why that happens, but it is like a pretty well-known association that as life gets easier, like birth rates go down. Maybe you don't need help and you just like have kids to have help around. I don't know. um so so yeah, they're talking about how that like massive decrease in birth rate and immigration is actually causing like a will in the near term, but more likely like the near to medium term will cause like a huge decrease in our like progress, like GDP progress growth, because less people are able to work. Especially, I think like with immigrants, like with live births. I mean, it takes what 18 years or 16 years for a kid to grow up and enter the working force. But an immigrant can come in right away and start working, and usually do. Um,
How long have IUDs been around?
a while, like over 40 years, maybe like
Okay,
40-ish
so a
to
long
50
time.
years. Yeah.
It's not like a. I thought it was like a more recent thing.
It's definitely probably become more ubiquitous. Like I'd say way more young girls like automatically get them. Whereas like, I know my mom would talk about it, that she had one and that was like, it was probably like a more of a rare thing. People were doing other
Yeah.
things. Yeah. But
I would say there's a major correlation between the um, like housing rates going up. What's the word I'm looking for? Everything, all the prices going up on everything,
inflation.
inflation,
Hmm.
um, and people not being able to afford, a decent lifestyle or a house, and not wanting to have kids at that point.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. That's
I
probably
could
for
see
sure
that for sure.
playing a role. And they were talking about how, in order to like, because there's also the counter argument with people like not wanting an immigration, because if you're a high skilled worker, maybe like a business owner, you probably on average like immigration because these are people that can work for you at maybe a little bit of a lower cost. But as like a lower skilled worker, you're usually more opposed to immigration because you have the viewpoint that these people are going to come take my jobs, or maybe even just like lower the average price that I can earn for this job. So talking about how there should be a stratification of high and low skilled immigrants, or some sort of point system like Canada uses, where like we want to immigration. They were talking about immigration almost being like recruiting for a basketball team. Like we should be recruiting the best talent from like all over the world, like we used to do. Like U.S. used to be this like place where the best of the best would come to our country and like start companies. And there's something like a statistic like the top all of the tech startups, like 80% have an immigrant CEO. So like there is like a huge, immigrants do make up a big portion of our like at least a tech related high skilled jobs, and like entrepreneurs. Yeah, I don't know if you guys what you guys felt about that. Uh, yeah.
I just think there's been like a huge anti-immigration standpoint, even though they say they're against illegal immigration. And this is
Mm-hmm.
not just the right, because I mean, it was obviously started on the right, but Obama administration deported
Mm-hmm.
millions of immigrants as well.
Right.
So I just think there's been a huge anti-immigration sentiment, and to come over here, legally, you still need to have a lot of money, and that's one way you can get a citizenship is by investing in a property here. There's a EB-5 program that if you invest in a business, you invest like it depending on the area, $1 million in a business, and you get a green card for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one way we're like kind of what you're talking about, recruiting at least rich people to come here, but a lot of high skilled workers don't necessarily have
Money.
$1 million to invest,
Right.
even if they are, productive people who could be great members of our society. So I just think over the last 20 years at least, there's just been a huge anti-immigration sentiment in our country, and from the outside looking in, people don't look very positively on the US. Around the world, they don't see the reason to come here when there are
Yeah.
other countries that have maybe a better freedom index, higher happiness rates, better economies for at least for the average person. So yeah.
Totally. And it's like that sentiment needs to shift, I feel like, in order for us to keep like getting that talent, keep recruiting. Otherwise, we're going to slowly kind of just like other countries, China is going to kind of take over that like power of being like the best entrepreneurs, the most innovative. And,
For
you know,
sure.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, And I mean, maybe kind of related. There's been this like shift from progress to equity. Um, you know, with everything from like I think like even when I went to med school, they start. It's like when they started doing it. Our med school was one of the first the med schools to do it. There was no grading. There was no grades. It was just pass fail. A lot of med schools switched to pass fail, and
Hmm.
then I know in the last years a couple colleges have gotten rid of the SATs.
A
They
lot
stopped.
have. The whole
Yeah,
UC system did. Yeah.
it's like almost been this shift to like we don't want to stratify people unfairly. We just want equal opportunity amongst everybody, and it's like okay, but like like the cream does need to rise to the top in some way. Otherwise, we're just going to give like a bunch of shitheads like jobs that they can't do or um, I don't know. It seems like there's been like a too far of a shift to this like equality uh, versus like progress.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a complicated issue because yeah, I mean, for instance, like I'm somebody who benefited huge from the SAT. I had bad grades. I had like a 3.0 coming out of high school, but I got a perfect score on my math SAT, and that got me into a bunch of colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the argument that's like, oh, a kid like me, I obviously have a lot of potential as
Mm-hmm.
someone who can score high on tests, but like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't try or whatever. But at the same time, the real reason I did so great on the SAT is because I my parents had money and enrolled me in an
SAT
SAT
course.
class and spent, hundreds if not thousands of dollars on me doing well on tests. And
Okay.
not every if you aren't prepared because doing well on the SAT, yes, there's a degree of like intelligence that it takes to do well, but I also think it means doing well on the SAT means you know how to pass the SAT.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean you're this genius on everything. You just
Mm-hmm.
studied really hard for that test and did well.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the resources to become great at that, it can preclude a lot of kids who might have a lot of potential or might, but they don't have the access to that kind of resource that I did. So but at the same time, I'm glad I benefited from that because I
Right.
ended up in a good position. So selfishly I do, but I also see the argument that it can, you know, hurt kids or at least not help kids that deserve
There's
the
some
help.
selection bias. There is some selection
Yeah.
bias there for sure. But maybe that's an imperfect. Maybe maybe not to say that the SAT is perfect or even the MCAT. I'd say was the same way. A lot of
Mhm.
standardized tests are the same way. You study to
Yeah.
take the test. You doesn't really test your overall smartness or knowledge. But maybe but just to abandon testing or to banning like grading or to banning any type of just like assessment in
I,
general
I think
seems
it.
like it's too far.
I agree. I agree completely. Yeah.
I think they
Let me
need to
tell.
bring back bullying school a little more,
Yeah.
and that's not even a joke.
They got to bring
Uh,
back
Not
the
even a joke. I
yardstick.
think it plays
the
an important
yardstick.
role in society.
Really?
Totally. I
No,
totally
I think
agree with
kids are
Keith.
under way more bullying than they were when we were younger, especially with
Yeah.
social media. I think that
Yeah,
they're
I
in a
don't think
constant.
bullying's gone. Yeah, I think it's
Um,
just
Yeah.
takes different forms now,
but
but it's
Yeah.
We
I
need
clickiness and
more
think
stuff is still there.
physical bullying.
I agree.
yeah, yeah, not so
Yeah.
much mental.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, leave the kids' heads alone. Just beat them up at school, you know?
Just swirlies and lock them in lockers. Just maybe there's a whole class just like for
Yeah.
swirlies and
Yeah.
lockers.
Kids don't even know what a swirly is anymore, dude. Come on.
Uh,
But kids definitely don't understand like reality because now like in high school kids they pretty much get a 50% if they have a missing assignment. It's automatic 50%. They can
yeah.
retake every single test like multiple times until they get a grade that they like. um, Kids do not get expelled anymore. They'll get
Hmm.
suspended, but they
Yep.
pretty much like you do not get kicked out of school. And all these kids are just showing up with like just trying to be class clowns every day, not doing their schoolwork, pretty much kind of getting like passing grades by doing absolutely nothing.
We had
And
the
that
same.
doesn't prepare you for the real world. That's not
No,
how real jobs are. That's not at
no.
all.
These
Like,
kids, these kids are going to get fired for no call, no shows every single time and think that the world's just against them. Like, oh, everyone's just mean to me. Like, no, you
there,
no called, no showed.
yeah, there's
Like,
going to be a whole
what are you talking
cohort
about?
of workers in the next like 5 to 10 years that just like literally do not know how to maintain a job. It feels
No,
like
it's already happened because when I was working at the restaurant and I had to hire like people that were probably
teenagers.
16 to
Yeah.
22-year olds, they were the most worthless already. And this was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it was. The work habits, the work ethic is just so terrible Everyone just wants to be on their phone all the time and do nothing.
Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
know if that's like a true shift, or is this just like us being grandpas again, like our grandmas would say, like, "Oh, you didn't have to shovel the snow or walk in the rain or whatever," you know.
I think no, I think technology plays a big role in it because um, we didn't have phones, in middle school or elementary school, and then in high school it started to become more normal, and then everyone after us always had phones. So I think
Mhm.
kids growing up get phones so early, and I think it changes a lot just from how you interact, how you learn to,
Yeah.
um,
Customer service.
yeah, and how to read people, how to deal with people. It's not all face to face anymore. It's over text message. All those things change society in a way.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, I don't disagree completely with what you're saying, but I think incompetence is not exclusive to the younger generation. I mean, having worked in, several jobs, like people are idiots of all ages, and
Yeah.
there are really smart people of all ages. But I think as far as like the problems Kylie pointed out about the schools,
Mhm.
I agree. Those are big problems. I don't know if that's exclusive to Nevada though, because I do know that's, we have one of the worst school systems in the country. So I don't know if like it might not be as bad in a better school district. I just don't know that. And so I think I'm at least trying to be optimistic about the future, because like I know our school district is so bad, so it could be better in other places.
You should ask your wife, Jonathan, not right now, but like ask her like what the like kind of disciplinary policies are, like if a kid doesn't do their homework, if they act out in class, or like can a kid get expelled? Because I know Kim has said that exact same. She's a teacher here. My
Mhm.
stepmom has said that exact same thing that Kylie's saying, that like it's like impossible for kids to get punished or any type of negative effect to happen while they're in school. It's almost just turned into even more glorified daycare. It's like it
I have a
seems
17-year-old too.
it seems terrible. Yeah, I know for
I
sure.
can see her going
And
to
luckily,
school.
she seems
Yeah.
like she tries more than most. Like she seems pretty like well rounded, actually. You
Yeah.
know?
But the new system that they have, like kids pretty much can turn in their assignments whenever they want. I guess like they just like have a certain amount of assignments that are on the computer that has to be due by a certain date. So she'll be up at midnight trying to do like all these assignments. It's not like when we were kids. Busy.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there might be a factor of like during the pandemic that some of that had to be implemented,
Yeah.
and maybe school is shifting a little bit towards a like a little shifting a little bit. What a sweetheart. Shifting a little bit more towards like a work at your own pace. I don't necessarily think that's bad, but you still have to find a way to implement. Hi, Hannah Banana. Can you hear me?
That smile.
I know she's such a Tasmanian devil. Hannah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Say bye.
Bye.
That's an aggressive yes.
Oh yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy for sure. But yeah, anyways, I guess we'll see. Okay, we're getting close. One of the last things I wanted to say, just decide whether I'm going long or short. I think I told you my preference was to long with the upcoming Bitcoin conference. Would you guys have any thoughts there? Oh, whoa. Yeah. No.
We'll have to see how some of those speeches go. Some of these
Well,
alternative opinions.
Watch out for Jordan Peterson and see what he thinks.
They also
Who
have
is this guy?
Jordan
the North
Peterson?
Korean.
Never heard of it.
Oh, wow.
They have that lady
never watched
Yeonmi
YouTube.
Park, who was on Joe Rogan, the North Korean defector.
Oh, she's there?
Yeah, she's there. I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh,
She's
why is she there? She's going to say that North Korea is all into Bitcoin?
Yeah, no. I mean, as far as I know, she's against them, so she's gonna.
Yeah, but I don't know. Did you listen to that? That was crazy.
I heard clips of it. Yeah,
Yeah, interesting.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I wonder how much is real or not real, but it seems.
I mean, I'm sure most of it's real.
It seemed like
I'm
it.
not,
Yeah.
I'm not high on the DPRK,
Yeah. Interesting.
but yeah, I mean, it's definitely it should be interesting. We'll keep an eye on some of those speeches.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm interested in. I wonder if they'll live stream them.
Yeah.
First, do you have any thoughts, long or short Bitcoin?
I I don't know where we at this morning. Let me pull up my trading view chart.
Here, I'll show you.
I'm just a chartist. That's all.
There you go.
Let me see where it's. Oh, okay, here's your chart. I don't know. I don't know, man. It looks slightly bullish. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe we go back to 50,000 area.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, somewhere around where that blue numbers are, right there where
Yeah.
your thing's on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe 50Ks in the cards in the short term, but
The 1/6 Fibonacci retracement.
yeah.
When do we go to the moon is the question.
Where's the moon on the chart? Okay, so I put in a long just now for Bitcoin. I'll let you know how that goes. And then our last. Oh no, not our last. I forgot to do this one. We'll talk about it real quick.
My newest thing is I took a huge data dump from the NBA, trying to analyze it and see if I can come up with an equation to
You took a what?
like took all the data.
He took a dump.
What?
Massive dumps.
I took a lot of data from the NBA,
Okay.
analyzing it, and I've been betting on sports, mostly
Based on that data?
over-unders, to see if I can get like a at minimum 60% like correct,
Uh-huh.
and just use that moving forward.
Okay.
Just bet the under.
That's mostly what it's coming down to.
Really? Is that like a known kind of strategy?
People always bet the over because they think if they want it to be a fun game, they think it's going to be a good game, and then it
Oh,
goes.
That
like
is that is
It's like a psychology bet, kind of
Well,
almost.
'cause when you set the number, like the over under number or any betting line, it's not necessarily the like perfect number. It's you want to get half the money on one side, half on the other. So
Okay.
it's not always who's going to win. It's where's the public going to bet. And things like major teams like the LA Lakers, people
Usually-
love the Lakers,
Right.
so that can affect lines because of just the psychology behind it.
And they need to set those lines appropriately because they need to be able to cover their bets, right? Like they want about 50% of each person.
Yeah,
covering
'cause they
each
just
other,
wanna
'cause they
take
don't
that
want to come up with the
percentage.
extra. Gotcha.
If you
Interesting.
listen
every
to some
bet,
of
there's
these,
like a small percent the house takes.
Right.
So like if you bet $100, you only win 90 or something like that. So as long as they have equal money on both sides, they're always winning. If there's too much on one side, there's potential for a loss.
Right. Exactly.
yeah, if you listen to the podcast, sometimes they'll have guys on where they talk about like the public bet huge on one side, but all the like insider or like
Bet the
high
other side.
rollers are betting the other side, like the
Interesting.
people who really know what they're doing.
Interesting.
So huge.
It's time. that was loud.
I believe in science.
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot to talk about it last time. I just played the video because I was excited about the video. But Friedberg, I think his name's David Friedberg. He is an investor and kind of a scientist, and he's coming out with a product. I think he just released the pre-release of it. You can buy a molecular beverage printer. And the idea is that a kind of like a Keurig looking device that you could have on your counter. The idea of it is that 99% of beverages are 99% water. And we are paying all this money to transport water from a company to a storage facility to a truck, which costs gasoline, and the refrigerators take energy. And then we're transporting water to our house, essentially, the 99% water, which we already have water that flows into our house, like for free almost, besides the cost of the water. So why are we paying all this infrastructure cost just to transport what is 99% water and 1% other ingredients? Okay, so he has a beverage printer that is on your counter and uses the water from your house and uses these cartridges that are the 1% flavoring and other additives, whether that's caffeine or vitamins or, basically he did all this research and broke down tens of thousands of beverages down to like what is a lot of overlapping ingredients too. Like that 1% actually has a lot of overlapping. Like in grape juice is a lot of similar things that there is in wine, right? And so with a very small adjustment and the addition of ethanol or alcohol, you can make wine. And so he's releasing
Turning
this
water
beverage.
into wine.
Exactly. It's called Cana, which is like I guess the place where Jesus turned water into wine. And so that's the name of the company and the product. And they give you the flavor. I'm going to call them flavor pods, but they're more than that.
Like
They send them.
syrups,
They're like it's like a
like
combination,
soda syrup, or
kind
like
of yeah, but it's so much.
restaurants. And
It seems more like right. It has like all the things to make whiskey, to make wine, to make mixed beverages, to make orange juice, to make coffee, to make and all you do is you just select the beverage on the machine. It makes it, and you pay a per beverage cost that is usually about 25% of what it costs you to buy, right? So, like you wanted to buy a White Claw, maybe it costs like $2.99 or $2 at the store, and it'll cost you like 80 cents or maybe up to $1. Um, and they send you the packets whenever you run out. Like it just automatically ships them to you. You don't pay for that. You're just paying the cost of the drink per drink. And because they save all this money in the labor and the shipping and all the storage and the things like that, they're able to relay that cost down to you. And in fact, it's like a lot more green in that respect too, right? Because you're not.
People are just gonna start boofing the like pure alcohol cartridge.
Oh God! So take it and stick it up their butt.
Yeah. Just get wasted.
Just don't accidentally put the coffee one or like the
or do it.
or do it.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
But
That's
no, it sounds like an interesting idea.
Yeah, it sounded like at first I was like, no, this sounds stupid. And then, it kind of did seem a little bit like revolutionary. Now we'll have to see how it tastes. Does it taste the same? Apparently they did all these like blinded tests and stuff like that. And then like, are there going to be people that are like, no, like I want real orange juice with all the essential like whatevers. I don't know.
Are there going to be lawsuits by like White Claw for them doing a knockoff White Claw for cheaper?
Well, that you can make it. Everyone's done a knockoff White Claw, right? There's like Trulies and things like that. You can make it, and they won't call it that. And one of his big things was that not only is it going to make it more green and bring it right at your all beverages at your counter space, so you don't have to buy them or store them in your house, but like anyone will be able to go online and make their own custom drink, right? With I want to add a little bit of this and that and whatever, and then you can just brand it. We could make a Unbreakable podcast beverage and just like release the ingredients on the website for free, and you can download them to your Cana beverage maker, and so anyone can become like an advertiser or just in the same way that like there was a huge limitation to television, right? Like you had to be famous-ish, you had to have a good idea and pitch it to a broadcast station and get signed, and maybe the very, very few people would actually make it to getting their good idea of a television show onto the cable TV, right? But then YouTube came out, and now anybody with an idea can just have a TV show, and so that actually makes it so that there's way more options and way more niche markets that people can get involved in, and actually like way more people. It didn't take away from maybe it took away from cable a little bit, but like it didn't really take away from other things. It just people were able to use a lot more, were able to view a lot more, were able to take in a lot more media in different aspects, and so like his argument is that a lot more people will become drink distributors or drink producers or drink like advertisers, right? Because the barrier to entry is so low now. Interesting.
Is there an upfront cost, or it's literally just per beverage?
No, there is an upfront cost. I think they're selling the first 10,000 for $4.99, and the rest of them for $7.99 as the Gen 1. And I imagine that cost will come down. There's no heated beverage option, so you can't have hot coffee yet. So I think he predicts like the Gen 3 will be the all-inclusive, lower cost.
Okay. Most people don't drink coffee.
What? Do you not drink coffee, Kian?
No.
I don't either.
I also don't watch YouTube.
I do
Son
that.
of a bitch.
I watch YouTube. I didn't until like 2 years ago, pandemic, while I was like playing video games. I got into a few channels.
I don't play
Yeah,
video
I
games
think-
either.
I don't play
What
video
do I
games
do?
What do
anymore,
you
but-
do? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what
don't
do you
know.
do?
I just work.
Yeah.
You still have cable too, I bet.
No,
I'm just kidding. You just work. Yeah. Well, start watching YouTube, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have time to add things.
They're short videos, you know.
Yeah. The last thing before we leave, because I have that appointment, is our deep dive section. And my question is, how do you guys take space?
Deep dive ecology.
Yes. You didn't see it. What do you mean?
I thought it was just an Ashton statement there.
What?
Still not correct.
Yeah. Still,
So when you guys get, I'm gonna say with your significant others, it can probably happen with other types of communication, other people. But let's say you're getting in an argument or in a whatever disagreement, and I personally will like find myself like getting flooded, like when I are upset, and it's usually at that point that I probably should take space, and sometimes I don't right away. Sometimes I wait, and it gets like to a place where I actually end up taking like space in a negative way or in a non-constructive way, and then I usually just like leave, like storm out of the house or something like that. But I'm trying to figure out a way to take space more effectively, and I wanted to know how do you guys do that? What do you guys do, and how like do you request or take that space? What does that
I don't
look
really
like?
understand what you're asking.
Are you talking about space from other people or
Yeah,
talking
like
about outer
like
space?
outer space, dude. Like, how do you take it, and then where do you put it?
I get what you're asking. Like it just like if
Yeah.
an argument's beginning and
Mhm.
you're like, I should cool off and not let
Yeah.
this escalate because it doesn't need to, rather than like
Mm.
work something out that doesn't really even need to be worked out necessarily.
Yeah, or give it time to just like calm down, and then you realize a lot of times, okay, this is silly.
Yeah, you can see
Oh.
their perspective better. or
Yeah,
whatever.
you get time to like yeah, exactly. So what do you do usually? Do you kind of just do whatever happens? I think that's kind of like
I'm not that good at this either. I usually, if I feel like a problem brewing, I try to talk it out, like when it doesn't necessarily need to be, like,
Mhm.
and it ends up escalating. But yeah, I'm usually like try to stay pretty calm and just
Mhm.
like recognize my faults, you know. So if space is needed, like usually my partner will ask first or something, and I'll just go in the other room or like just take a breath. But yeah, it's true. It's kind of hard to know like the right time and when is like
Mhm.
it could send the wrong message too.
Yeah,
you know what I
totally,
mean.
exactly.
So yeah, it's kind of a complicated thing.
When you're in the other room, do you just like go on your computer and try to like, do you sit there and try to think about it? Do you go exercise? I think like exercise for me is one that can really help.
Yeah, I'm like me personally. I'm usually really fast to apologize. Like even like because I just like to try to dispel like
Mhm.
the tension.
Mhm.
And maybe if I like if I'm the one who's mad,
Mhm.
and I'm like not ready to give up like anything,
Mhm.
I could go in the other room and like I guess
Video
I don't
games.
know. Yeah, it just maybe I'd go on my
Something fun?
phone or like
Yeah.
sometimes I just sit there. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
How
okay.
often does this come up?
not that
Um,
often.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. You like maybe once a week, maybe. I what I've actually found is that at the end of my work week, so like at the end of every 2 weeks, I guess I would say, at the end of my work week, I'm like 7 days in. I work 5 p.m. 2 a.m. It's like I end up getting tired. I'm probably a little more edgy. I feel like I'm shorter then, and if that like happens to coalesce with like when my partner is PMSing or when there's some like life stressor, I feel like That's when it usually happens. And
Okay.
and just I'm just trying just trying to figure out ways that I feel like to just resolve problems faster, or just resolve issues like that, or just not get as worked up, and
I think like taking space like before there's ever even a problem is also a good thing. Like with the
yeah,
pandemic, especially, and like working remote, like
yeah,
I'm always here. And
yeah,
so like
same.
it's yeah, and so it's like that can create tension even if you like it's not directly about that. So just like you said, going to the gym and like having reasons to be out of the house and give each
Mm-hmm.
other that alone time
Mm-hmm.
at a home space where you feel comfortable is important. So like that's something I've worked on too, because I'm here all the time, and so and it like and yeah, so it's like it's good to just leave and you
Yeah,
know
100%. And I feel like, yeah, with the pandemic, I work from home. Katina's had the last 2 months off work, so like we've been around each other quite a bit, and it's awesome. It's really
mhm,
great. But yeah, I think that you inadvertently don't end up taking like alone space, just doing whatever, and
mhm.
so little things can like you can end up getting on each other's nerves in some way, and then whatever. Taking space early, I think that's a great call too, because usually if you take space late, I feel like you end up taking it, like at least I'll end up taking it in a non-constructive way, like I'm just gonna leave then, like, and that doesn't feel great for your partner, right?
Mhm.
Whereas like if you're just like, oh, I think I'm just gonna like go to the gym by myself and kind of like release some stress, like, and then they can be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, like maybe I'll do something while you're gone. It just
I
communicates
think
better.
I
Mhm.
think it's about preventative measures, kind of like you're saying, recognizing when you're in moods that might be aggressive or whatever,
Hmm.
and not necessarily being around your partner at that point, or going to the gym before it becomes an issue,
Right.
or
Preventative.
getting a nap or some sleep or whatever you need.
Hmm.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
even being honest, being like, "Hey, I'm for some reason I'm irritable right now." Like,
I
just so
think
you
that's a
know, you
really
know.
big key. That's a really big key, is just owning that, so your partner sees like that ownership and also just knows.
Yeah, and
you know.
Yeah,
sometimes that can even help to spell it to a
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah.
there are times where I'll say, "Please don't talk to me right now. I'm in a terrible mood."
Mhm.
Hmm. And is she responsive to that?
Yeah, why would
Yeah.
you want to talk to someone in a terrible mood?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah. Okay. Nice. From the quiet two up there, anything? Any?
The two with kids.
Jonathan never needs space. There's no such thing as space.
Yeah, no space for kids.
I just, yeah, no space from the kids. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. The kids create other problems in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You it just raises the stress level in the house too sometimes, and then you
Mm-hmm.
clash with your partner because you're stressed about something else with the kid, and it just like everybody's a little bit on edge.
Yeah, sure.
Um, but so yeah, honestly, yeah,
Do you
we
find a
don't
way to
have
just go on a walk, or do you like
Yeah,
try to
I
just
usually
like,
will just be like, yeah, I'm going for a drive. Like
yeah,
I'll just go
yeah,
drive somewhere for whatever, half an hour, just get out of the house
yeah.
and
So
then
you don't
yeah,
reach a
have
critical. So you don't reach a critical level, and you're just like, yeah, that's great.
yeah, because also with the kids, like you don't want to be yelling at each other in
No,
front of
no,
them
no, no.
necessarily,
I mean,
Like
you don't want to
you
do
don't want
that
to get
ever.
you can fight in front of like or argue, but like if you can't let it get to like a certain level with the
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, 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 for sure. I like
I
that.
I think another good preventative thing is like spending good quality time. Like when if you're just like at home and you're both like in your office, or like even when you're sitting on the couch together, but you're like on your phones and not really interacting. We're like, McKenna and I, we walk Nala every morning for an
Mhm.
hour, like when she's off, and like just
That's great.
it's like we don't bring like really have our phones, and it's just
Hmm.
like that's like I feel like really good quality time where it makes like the rest of our day a lot more positive, and like
Definitely.
we have like a better connection.
Yeah, having that routine, I think, is really cool. That's a
Hmm.
good idea. I like that.
I like what Kian said about the preventative measures about just like going to the gym. I think you said that too, Ashton.
Hmm.
And just like kind of like releasing your energy in different ways. So when you kind of do get in an argument, it's more like you don't have like that fight or flight response that kicks in, but it's more just
Hmm.
like, oh, let's how can we solve this?
Yeah.
And one thing that I've done is definitely taken more ownership of like my faults,
Hmm.
and I try to do that very quickly. Like if I
Hmm.
did something wrong, like I'll try to like take ownership rather than like trying to hunker down and
Hmm.
battle. Like I
Hmm.
try to like probably lose like 99% of the arguments, and the ones I try to like win
Losing
are-
is winning. Losing is winning.
Yeah, sort of,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
'cause
I like
Christine's
that.
probably smarter than me. I just like to think. She
Well,
probably
it's
has
also like
yeah.
it's also like one of those things where as soon as you or your partner like takes ownership of their faults, it's way easier for the other partner to be like, okay, yeah, I could see that I was probably not perfect too. Like when you're both just trying to like point the finger or just like get your point across, it's like you kind of get in that like battle mode, right? Like you're kind of like where you're less likely to be like, no, I realize I did something wrong. So
Yeah, it's not always about trying to prove your point. It's about, I mean, I think it's about also trying to understand why they're arguing from a different perspective and just seeing where they're coming from. It helps ease the situation.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you guys. That was super
Oh, yeah.
helpful. I appreciate it. Another great show. Another great.
Was
talk.
that your homework for the class coming up?
That was my homework for the class coming up. Yeah, I got it in 5 minutes. So I guess with that, I think we'll give Kean
Don't
another
take space
chance.
during the argument. I don't know. Try to solve it.
No.
You leave, it's probably going to escalate. Then you're going to come back, and it's going to be there for a week rather than a day.
Yeah, that's no fun. A weak argument's never a good idea.
Yeah, that's never.
Yeah, and you make things harder for yourself, right? Like then then we go to work the next day or that night or whatever. It's no fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's happier when their wife's happy.
Yes.
Say it, Kylie. Say it, Kylie.
Happy wife, happy life.
All right, that's it. Later, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Peace.